Hello friends, welcome to another video. Today video is going to be just some DAX tricks, keep filters, TREATAS and something on those grounds. Actually, the reason for this video is it was related to a question posted on Power BI community forum, and where the user wanted to select certain product categories in a slicer, and when the user want to visualize the data by product category on the timeline, or and let's say by month or by quarter, at the same time user wanted to see the total of the selected categories on the in the line visual. So I look into that, and I solved this, of course, using some DAX measures and some data modeling changes. But then I took this to the next level. I created like a different variation of the same question. In today's video, we will talk about the original question posted by the user. In the coming videos, in the second video and the third video, we'll look into the different ways of um, uh, interpreting the same question. Let's get to Power BI and look at the question and solve for it. So what I have in a simple model where we have a product categories. Of course, we have a sales table, and I don't want to go into the model, but we have a product category. Let's put that as in a slicer, and what we have here is again a sales measure, which is a simple sales measure. I'm going to drop that in there, and let's create a line chart. And on x-axis what we can have is maybe month is YYY actually it's MMM-YYY. So, and that's what we're seeing the sales over the period by month. And then also on the legend we have the product category. Here you go. So now we see the sales by product category for all the categories. So let's say if I select a couple of categories here in the slicer, of course I see the line chart by those categories. Now this is a starting point. User want to select the categories and they are showing up, which is great. But at the same time, user want to see the whatever the categories are selected, show a line visual or a line here which shows the total of the selected categories. To do so, of course, I enjoy this connected table. I enjoy like there's a lot of things you do in DAX where you need a table which is not has a relationship with your with the rest of the tables in your model, and that solves tons of that helps to solve certain problems. So similarly, in this case, I created another table. What that table, I call that a product category slicer. I'm just gonna walk through what that table is. So what I did is I took the columns from my product category table. I took these three tables, columns. Product subcategory key, that's the key of the column, the name of the product category, which we just used in the slicer, and how the product category is being sorted. So currently the category is sorted by alphabetically. So that's why I added this column. The reason I add this column is to sort by, to use a sort by functionality, and I will show you why that is critical. And then three columns I selected. I added another row here, or appended in another, because I'm using a union function. So once this table is returned, I'm adding another row into that table. And what that row is, as you guys already probably assumed, that is to get the total to, because we need a row in our table to show the total line. So what I did is I added the product subcategory key. I took the maximum product subcategory key, which is a number field, and added +1 to it to give the most, like the last number in the product subcategory key, and the category value is called total. And I also added the product subcategory sort is underscore total, and the reason why I did the underscore total is to show before any other category. and that's why I took the underscore at the first. If I really want to show it at the bottom, I could have added like maybe ZZZ or something, like to be outside, to be the last value in this new table. So in this case, I want it to be shown as the first in my when I visualize it. So I have like a underscore a total. So once we did this, so what we have here is another table, product category slicer. I'm just going to quickly show you guys product category slicer. So of course, all the categories are here, and they're at the bottom. So the total categories we had up to 37. I have the 38th category, like in that creating this virtual table, or sorry, creating the disconnected table, I added 37 plus 1, the max of the category key plus 1, 38, and the category is called total, and then the set sort is called underscore total. And the one thing I did is my product category in this is sorted by product category sort. So if I put this, if I just simply grab the product category from my product category slicer table, let's go to a new page and take the product category from product category slicer. So you guys will see the total is always on the top, does not matter how it is being sorted. So sort by, because underscore sort. So if we look at the product category sort, and the in regular cases it's like product category is sorted by the product category sort, but in the total case we gave the underscore total, so it becomes like the a minimum value in a way, and that's why it's showing on the top. So that's the reason why I added the underscore, so that it becomes the first value in the product category. So that's the first thing. So now once we did that, so now we have a table with the product category sort. So what I'm going to do is, in this particular visual, I want to, in line visual, I want to use a product category, the new table which I created on the legend. So let's use product category on the legend instead from our regular product category table, which is part of the model and connected to the table, other fact tables. So, so as you see now, this does not give us anything. It's just a one line, and everything is turning out to be, if I hover over anything, that we get the same numbers for every category. Of course, the reason why we're getting it is because this new table which we created for product category slicer, so far I call that, it does not have any relationship with anything, or even if the fact table, and that's why everything is turned out to be the same number. So what we need to do is we need to create a measure which will take care of, we will use our regular product category table as in a slicer, and then we will use that slicer and apply it on our product category slicer table, which the new table which we created, so that we can see the total line. So let's write a measure, and then look how does that work. So first thing now, what we need to do is we are seeing this visual based on the product category slicer table, the new table which created, and it has a row for the total. So we can check if our current when we're visualizing this data, if we are at the total line, then we can now change the behavior to seeing the value what we have in the visual right now. So what we can do is we can say if max of the table which we created, product category slicer, product category is total. If it is a total, the value, then what to do? Calculate sales, and what we want to do is all selected sales. So what we've been saying is, does not matter whatever the filter is applied on the sales, just keep that filter and just give us the total. Because if we say all selected, it will be whatever is currently the sales table is filtered on, it will give us the total for that, everything what is selected. And then we see keep filters. Why we are seeing keep filters? Because if we don't do that, then we will get a flat line on the because we want when we set the all selected, and if we're looking on the time dimension by month, it will be always showing the same value because it's all selected, no filter is being at that point of time will be implemented. But if we say the keep filters, so whatever the way we are visualizing the data, it will keep that filter on the table. So in this case, like when I'm looking at December 2019, it will keep that filter even though everything on the sales table is selected, but it will keep the filter for the whatever the dimension I'm visualizing it on. So right now I'm visualizing it on the month, it will keep that filter. So that's why we need to use the keep filter. So all selected. So that's why I have done many videos on keep filters and other functions like this. So do check out those videos. So that's the first thing. So what we're saying here is if we our row filter context in the product category slicer is total, then do this calculation, perform this calculation, which is this. But if we are not in the total, then what we need to do is apply the filter from the slicer to our product category slicer table. So what we're going to do is now one thing really we need to make sure, because product category slicer, the new table which we created, it does not have any relationship with the fact table, and we are just visualizing this as a legend, and we brought the product category column from product category slicer, this new table, and use it on the legend, but it does not have any relationship. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say calculate sales, and then we're going to use a TREATAS, and what we're going to do is values from the new disconnected table we created and we're going to say take the product category from this table and then apply this on our product category table. And the reason why we are doing it, let me actually just write this measure and then explain it. Product category. So let's do this measure. So what I'm saying here is values product category slicer table product category. So the new disconnected table, so that is used on the legend. So if I'm looking at a on the legend, I'm looking at in that row context, let's say product category is called A. What I'm saying is take the values, it will return me the values A when it is on the legend, and then use that value and filter my product category table. And why I want to filter my product category, apply the filter on product category table, because product category table is part of the model which has a relationship with the fact table. And once I transfer my apply the filter from my values product category from legend to my product category table, it's going to filter the sales table, and that's what is really important here. And then one thing we need to do is we need to say keep filters. The reason why we want to keep filters, because on the in the slicer we are using product category, the original table which is part of the model has a relationship with the fact table. We want to make sure that filters are still, or the values we select from the slices are still coming to this measure, and that's why we need the key filter. So let's do this, and now so we have this new measure called sales by category and total. So we will use this in our visualization and see how does this work. So once the measure is done, so it's called sales by category and total. Let's visual, instead of regular sales table visual measure, let's use this one. Here you go. So let's see what we're seeing here. So what we have is in December we have $162 sale of bike stands, and bottle and cage is 287. The total of these two is 450. So this blue line is total, as you can see in the legend. Why the legend is showing as the first? Because remember the sorting what we did, the legend is always at the total is always at the first, and then the rest of the categories. So these are the categories we selected. So whatever the category I select in my visual here, in my slicer here, so as you can see, I selected bike and stands. Unfortunately, bike brakes does not have any sales, and that's why we are only seeing one bar bike stands, and the total is over. These two are now overlapped, and that's why we're seeing only one bar. Let's select another one. So here you go, caps. So I selected brakes and caps. That's what their individual sales is, and the total is showing the sum of brakes and caps. Again, it's a really important here is the keep filter is really important. Let's say if I remove this keep filter, um, what happens? So here you go. So if I remove keep filters, what happens, I'm seeing all the categories from the prod category slicers, and the reason behind that is because what we're doing is the product category table in this case is not getting filtered what we selected in the slices, and that's why we're seeing everything. So what we need to do is to apply the key filters and to make it work, and this is the way. So what does that this means is I'm saying values from the product category slicer table. So each legend do filter the product category table, but at the same time do respect the categories I selected in the slicer, and that's why the key filter is important in this case. And then now in this case, whatever the categories I select, I will always see a total of those categories same time. If I remove everything, so I will see all the categories, but at the same time always have the total based on that, based on all the categories selected. In this case, it means all the categories selected and we're seeing the total of all the categories. So this was the original question where user asked, okay, I want to select few categories, but at the same time I want to see those categories and also see the total of selected categories. I created another variations of the same question, and in next video, in second video, I will show you another use case. Again, the reason for doing this video is to understand the different functions, DAX functions like key filters, how it's important, TREATAS, how it works, and also the disconnected tables. Anyhow, I did many videos on disconnected tables and done many times of the disconnect tables, but I hope you learned few things out of this video. Do let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe my channel. Until next video, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.